Welcome back to BCTD Now, the news video for the construction industry in North America. As expected, Governor Mitch Daniels signed into law last week right-to-work legislation for the Hoosier State. In a statement released just after the news broke, BCTD President Mark Ayers had this to say. Contrary to what right-to-work proponents would have the public believe, this was not about creating an inviting economic atmosphere that would attract businesses to Indiana. Rather, this effort, just like recent efforts to limit collective bargaining rights in Wisconsin and Ohio, was first and foremost about political power. As mentioned on this program last week, while the building trades and their affiliated unions are disappointed about this news, time will tell the real story and the real value of right-to-work laws, or the lack thereof. In other news, a round for working men and women in the PLA debate. Sacramento is the latest city to beat back the attacks of the Associated Builders and Contractors and their conservative anti-union groups like the American Legislative Exchange Council. In this instance, it was an attempt to place on the June ballot a measure to ban public sector PLAs. Unfortunately for the ABC, they failed to gather the required number of signatures. The reason? 20,000 of the more than 45,000 submitted signatures gathered by the ABC were invalid. A ripe example of the overall fallacy of the ABC's misinformation campaign. A true victory for all construction men and women in that area who want nothing more than to go to work and earn a decent day's pay. Further down the coast, one of the largest project labor agreements in history was put into place last week in Los Angeles between the City of LA and the Metropolitan Transit Authority. And not only was the total dollar amount of the PLA historic, the way that the PLA was written, thousands of citizens from economically disadvantaged communities in the LA area will have the opportunity to gain the skills that will enable them to earn a livable wage through direct pathways into careers in the trades. 40% of the work hours performed will be done by people who live in low-income neighborhoods, and 10% must be disadvantaged. Added up, and roughly 12,000 of the more than 24,000 jobs will be filled by those who find themselves finally on the road to a better life because of this project and this PLA. And that's something any lawmaker, policymaker, or elected official, regardless of political affiliation, should take to heart. In fact, it makes perfect sense. PLAs facilitate the creation of local jobs with local taxpayer funds. That's it for this edition. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.